Log entry number 1, October 9th. I've been reassigned to the southeastern boundary of the park. It's a remote stretch of forest tucked deep into the Appalachian Mountains. Quiet, unstaffed, and not particularly welcoming. The kind of place where the trees outnumber people 1,000,000 to 1, and radio contact comes in bursts if you're lucky. My name's Nathan Bowers, 33, senior ranger out of Boone. I've spent most of my adult life in these mountains, and I thought I'd seen it all. Missing hikers, panicked wildlife, illegal campsites. I've had my fair share of strange incidents, but nothing prepared me for this sector. When I arrived at base camp, I found it empty, except for a steel lockbox and a note taped to the fridge. No welcome packet, no formal turnover, just a scribbled line that read, "Use the keys. Stay out of the southern basin. If you see the stairs, don't go near them." No signature, no explanation. I figured it was a prank left by the last guy on duty. Rangers have a dark sense of humor, especially out here where boredom carves strange grooves in the mind. I followed my orientation checklist like always, cleared the access trails, logged fallen trees, verified fire tower comms, all standard stuff. The logbook had some scribbled notes from early summer, bear sightings, storm damage, a lost camper in July. No mention of stairs, no real red flags. The terrain was beautiful in a rugged way, full of thick undergrowth and steep drop-offs, but something about it felt a little distant, as if the forest was holding something back. 3 days in, I was covering the ridge path south of Lower Brook Hollow. That section doesn't have a maintained trail anymore, just a suggestion of one, carved years ago by logging crews and swallowed up by vines. About 2 miles in, I noticed the silence. No wind, no insects, no birds. If you've ever been in the backcountry, you know how rare that is. It was like the woods had paused to listen, like they were waiting for something. That's when I saw it. At first, I thought it was a mirage, some kind of shadow or rock formation caught in the wrong light. But as I pushed closer through the brush, I realized it was man-made. Stairs. 12 of them, carved from pale gray stone. Clean, smooth, perfect edges. No moss or damage, no sign of aging. They didn't lead to anything, just rose out of the dirt and stopped in midair. No structure around them. No ruins nearby. Just a staircase, standing on its own in the middle of the forest, like it had been carefully placed there by invisible hands. I froze about 20 feet away. Something in my gut told me not to get closer. I didn't hear anything, didn't see anything, but my instincts were screaming. The air around it was colder, I swear to God. My breath fogged up even though the morning had been warm. The sun was shining, but I felt like I was standing in the shadow of something I couldn't see. I moved in a slow circle around it, trying to make sense of it. No tracks, no markers, no disturbance in the soil. It looked like it had always been there, like the forest grew around it but didn't dare swallow it up. I didn't touch it. I didn't even get closer than 10 feet. Just stood there staring. I thought about the note on the fridge. Don't go near them. I backed off, slow and steady. Marked the spot on my map, but didn't radio it in. Something about the whole thing made me feel like I'd crossed some invisible line, like I wasn't supposed to have seen it. When I made it back to base, I tried to shake it off. Told myself it was just an old foundation or a park art project gone wrong. But that night, someone knocked on my cabin door. 3 knocks. Loud, slow, deliberate. It was just after 2 in the morning. I was still half asleep when I sat up, heart hammering in my chest. I grabbed my flashlight, stepped quietly over to the door, and opened it. Nothing. No one. The air was still and cold. The kind of cold that doesn't match the weather report. I scanned the woods with my light, half expecting to catch some prankster or wild animal. but there were no tracks, no wind. Just frost on the porch rail and the heavy silence pressing in around me like the woods had come to eavesdrop. I didn't sleep the rest of the night. The next day I checked the perimeter. Nothing was out of place. Nothing stolen. Nothing broken. No signs anyone had been nearby. I didn't report the knock either. Just wrote it down in my personal log. Something about all of this felt like it wasn't meant for anyone else to hear. Or maybe I was already too far into it. Maybe the moment I saw those stairs, something saw me too. I spent the rest of the morning pretending to go about my duties, checking fire roads, logging fallen limbs, replacing a warped trail sign near the lower creek. But my mind wouldn't leave those stairs alone. I kept seeing them in my head, too vivid to be memory, like they were waiting for me, calling me. It wasn't just their presence that haunted me. It was the way they felt outside of time. That's the only way I can describe it. Like they didn't belong to this place. Or maybe they did, but they belonged to an older version of it. Something the Earth forgot, but didn't dare erase. Later that day, I tried to radio the district ranger office to log the location, but the transmitter kept cutting out. Static. Clicking. I'd had a full signal that morning. Now, nothing. I figured it was just interference, but I couldn't shake the thought that maybe I wasn't supposed to share the coordinates. Like the forest itself was censoring me. That evening I locked the cabin door early, secured the shutters. I even checked under the bed, which I haven't done since I was 9. I know how that sounds. But fear does strange things to the mind, especially when it has something solid to latch onto. I stayed up until dawn again, heard creaks on the floorboards, a faint tapping on the window once, but nothing I could confirm. I didn't open the door this time. Now it's almost 9 p.m., and I can feel the quiet settling again. The birds have stopped. Even the crickets are holding their breath. I know what's coming. I know I should leave. But tomorrow, I'm going back out there. I don't want to, but I need to. I need to know if the stairs are still there. I need to know if they're watching me too. And if I don't come back, or if you find this log weeks from now, don't follow me. Don't look for the stairs. And if you see them, don't climb. Log entry number 2, October 12th. I didn't sleep again last night. Around 1:30 a.m., I heard a scraping noise out near the shed. Long, metallic, like something dragging a shovel or a length of chain across gravel. I sat in the dark with my rifle on my lap, heart pounding. The noise lasted maybe 30 seconds, then silence again. I waited. Nothing knocked. Nothing spoke. But I swear I heard something. A low murmur. Almost like laughter. Like someone whispering jokes to themselves out in the trees. I finally worked up the nerve to step outside around dawn. The air had a strange weight to it. Still, damp, metallic. The kind of air you feel more than breathe. I walked a full circle around the cabin, flashlight in one hand, rifle in the other. Nothing looked out of place. No signs of anyone, no drag marks, no footprints in the gravel. The shed door was locked, same as I'd left it. But the thermometer nailed to the porch rail said 42 degrees. It felt like 20. My fingers went numb within 5 minutes, and there wasn't a single gust of wind. I went back inside, made coffee, and waited for the sun to burn the chill off. Around noon, I set out for the same trail as yesterday. The southern ridge, past Lower Brook Hollow. I wanted to see the stairs again, take photos, maybe figure out who or what had put them there. I brought a digital camera, measuring tape, a compass, and a notepad. I was going to treat it like any other anomaly in the park. Document it, record it, do my job. I found the clearing easily enough. followed my own footprints from the day before. I even had the coordinates marked. But the stairs weren't there. They were gone. I stood in the middle of that clearing for 10 minutes just staring at the empty ground. It wasn't disturbed. No sign of stone being dragged or buried. No evidence of construction or deconstruction. Just pine needles, dirt, and silence. The same oppressive quiet from before had returned. No birds, no insects, no breeze. The only sound was the blood rushing in my ears. I checked my map, checked my compass, checked the marks I'd carved into a tree trunk 20 feet from the stairs yesterday. This was the place. I was sure of it. But the stairs were gone. There was, however, something else. Sitting dead center in the space where the bottom step had been was a single pine cone. Fresh. Green. Still a little sticky from the tree. It was standing upright in the dirt, like someone had placed it there carefully, deliberately. I stared at it for a long time before stepping closer. Bent down and picked it up. Nothing unusual. Just a pine cone. But the moment I touched it, I heard something move behind me. Big. Fast. Heavy. I spun around, heart in my throat, scanning the trees. Nothing. Just forest. I held still, listening. 10 seconds. 20. The hairs on my arms were standing straight up. The woods felt too still. Like the silence was thicker now, like it had closed in around me. I set the pine cone back down exactly where I'd found it and walked backward out of the clearing. I didn't run. I don't know why. Maybe I thought if I moved too fast, I'd attract attention. Or maybe I just didn't want to turn my back on it. When I got back to the cabin, I went straight for my trail cam footage. I'd set one up on the dirt road just past my driveway, mostly to catch any late-night animal traffic. I pulled the SD card and loaded it onto my laptop, scrolled through the previous night. Nothing unusual for most of it. A raccoon around midnight, a fox at 1:47 a.m. Then, at 2:14 a.m., the feed went static for exactly 3 seconds. When the image came back, the stairs were there. On the road. Plain as day. 12 steps. Same pale stone. Just standing there on the gravel. No shadows around them, but a weird kind of glow in the center of the image. Like the light didn't know where it was coming from. At 2:15, they were gone again. The camera caught nothing else after that until sunrise. I replayed it 5 times, took screenshots, zoomed in. Same exact shape as yesterday. The same feeling hit me in the chest, like I was staring at something I wasn't supposed to see. Something that was aware I was looking. I tried to radio the district office immediately. Called out to dispatch, got static. Tried again. This time, someone answered. But it wasn't anyone I recognized. He didn't say a name, just receiving. I asked to speak with the shift lead. Silence for 3, maybe 4 seconds. Then he said, "Sir, this frequency isn't operational anymore," and cut the line. I stared at the radio for a long time after that. Same channel I've always used, same call sign. But now it's not operational? Something's not right. Since then, things have gotten strange. The light through the windows feels different, slower, like it's dragging itself through the air. I notice the shadows in the corners of my cabin are darker than they should be. Too sharp. Like they're not just the absence of light, but something added instead. Something waiting. And then there are the pine cones. Last night I found 3 of them placed in a perfect triangle on my front steps. Green, fresh, sticky. Same as the one from the clearing. I didn't touch them, just swept them off the porch and went inside. This morning they were back. I didn't hear anything, didn't see anyone. But I know they were placed there. The spacing was exact. Like markers. Like bait. I should leave. I know that. I could pack up, hike out, and be back in cell range within a few hours. Call it in. Let someone else deal with it. But I can't bring myself to do it. Not yet. Not until I understand. Because last night, I had a dream. In the dream, I was standing at the base of the stairs. It was night, but the sky above was black in a way I've never seen before. Pitch, endless, alive. The stairs rose up into it just like before, but this time, I started climbing. Each step I took felt heavier than the last. Not physically, but like I was pushing through something thick. Like climbing under water, but colder. My hands were numb, my breath short, but I couldn't stop. I didn't want to stop. At the 11th step, I looked up. There was someone standing at the top. Me, but not me. He looked older, worn, eyes sunken, mouth twisted into a smile that didn't belong on my face. His teeth were wrong. Too many of them, and too small. Like needles. He looked down at me and said, "You're almost ready." And then I woke up. The door to my cabin was open. My boots were wet. Mud on the floor. Pine needles on my bedspread. I didn't leave them there. At least I don't remember doing it. But now I'm not sure what I'd remember anymore. Log entry number 3, October 15th. I've stopped pretending that any of this makes sense. I've stopped pretending I'm not scared. Last night I bolted the door, pushed the kitchen table against it, shut the blinds, unplugged the radio, and sat on the floor with my back to the wall, rifle in my lap, watching the shadows crawl along the ceiling. There were more pine cones outside again, 5 this time. Arranged in a straight line on the porch, all pointing toward the door like tiny compasses. At 3:12 a.m., I heard something climb onto the roof. I don't mean a branch falling or an owl landing. I mean something with weight. Steps. I could hear them pacing, slow and methodical. First above the bedroom, then the hallway, then directly over where I sat with my rifle. And then it stopped. For 10 full minutes, it didn't move. Then, one loud knock. Not on the door this time. On the ceiling. Just one. I didn't move. Didn't breathe. The knock came again, directly overhead. Same slow, deliberate weight behind it. 3 knocks total. Then footsteps again, moving back toward the far end of the cabin. Then nothing. Gone. I waited until sunrise to move, and that's when I found the footprints. Not on the roof, those were wiped clean somehow, but in the dirt beside the porch. Barefoot. Human looking, but off. Toes too long. The arch too high. They weren't prints left by someone walking. More like someone had stood still there for hours. Just outside the window. Watching. I went into the woods to clear my head. I wasn't thinking clearly. I didn't take a compass, didn't take a map. I just walked. North, maybe? I followed the old firebreak trail and ended up deeper into the trees than I meant to. That's when I found the stairs again. This time, they were different. They were upside down, still stone, still 12 steps, but hanging from the canopy, suspended in midair like a chandelier made from forgotten architecture. I stared up at them, mouth dry, pulse in my throat. They didn't sway, didn't move, just hovered there, gravity forgotten, casting shadows in the wrong direction. There was something hanging from the bottom step. A jacket. Mine. The one I lost 2 days ago and hadn't been able to find. Covered in mud and pine needles, like it had been dragged through the forest. I didn't take it down. Couldn't have reached it even if I'd wanted to. I just stared. Then I heard my own voice behind me. Found it. I turned fast, raising the rifle, but there was no one there. Just the woods, just trees and mist and shadows. But I swear to God, it was me. My voice, pitch and cadence exactly. I don't talk to myself. I've never had auditory hallucinations. But that was me. I backed out of there slow. Didn't turn around again until I made it back to the trailhead. I didn't even go back to the cabin. I drove straight into town. Made it as far as the ranger station outside Asheville. Tried to explain. I sounded insane. I know I did. Talked about disappearing stairs, footsteps on my roof, things imitating my voice. The duty officer at the desk kept nodding, eyes distant, like she'd heard it all before. When I finished, she handed me a clipboard. Just fill this out and we'll escalate it. I looked at the paper. Standard incident report. But the top of the page was already filled in. My name. My ID number. And the words, Staircase Protocol. Case number 47. Do not file. I left without signing. Drove back to the cabin with every nerve in my body on fire. When I got back, the cabin smelled wrong. Like mildew and metal and something sweet rotting under the floorboards. I searched every inch. Checked the attic, the crawl space. Nothing out of place, but the smell lingered, seeping into the walls. I opened the windows, lit a match, burned sage from the emergency med kit, even though I don't believe in that kind of thing. At dusk, I found another triangle of pine cones. This time they were on my pillow. I stood there staring at them for a long time. I didn't touch them. I couldn't. It felt like if I disturbed them, something would shift. Like I'd cross a threshold I wouldn't come back from. I slept in the truck that night, locked the doors, rifle in the passenger seat. I kept the dome light on and didn't shut my eyes for more than a few minutes at a time. Around 4 a.m., the forest lit up. I mean that literally. A faint glow, white-blue, like moonlight filtered through smoke, spilled through the trees. It didn't come from any visible source. It just appeared. Soft at first, then brighter. Brighter than headlights. I sat up, blinking, and saw the stairs again. They were in the field, maybe 30 yards from the cabin, perfectly upright this time, casting no shadows. They didn't glow, but everything around them did, like they were the source of some gravitational center, bending the world around them. There was something sitting on the top step. It looked like me. I scrambled out of the truck and stood frozen. My double sat still, perfectly still. Legs together, hands on knees, head tilted slightly, like a child waiting to be called on in class. The face was mine, but blank. Not expressionless, blank. No eyes, no mouth, just skin. I blinked and it was gone. No light, no stairs, just a field and the distant rustle of leaves. That morning I filed a resignation letter. Didn't submit it, but I wrote it out longhand. 6 pages. Tried to explain everything. I didn't write this log for them. I wrote it for me. To prove I still know what's real. But now, I'm not sure I do. Every time I close my eyes, I dream of climbing. Each night the stairs look different. Wooden, spiral, steel, upside down, carved into roots or bone, but they all lead the same place. Darkness, silence. My reflection at the top, waiting. And every morning I wake up with more pine cones. Today I found 7, forming a circle around my bed, one under my pillow. They're getting closer. I think the stairs move on their own. I think they follow me now. I don't know how much longer I can keep this up. If anyone finds this log, burn it. And if you ever see the stairs, don't climb. Don't even look. Because once you do, they look back. Log entry number 4, October 19th. I've been watching the stairs for over 4 hours now. They appeared again this morning, less than 50 feet from the back of the cabin. I didn't hear them arrive. No wind, no sound. Just looked up from the sink, and there they were, right outside the kitchen window, rising straight out of the damp earth. 12 perfect steps, carved in some pale stone that doesn't match anything native to this region. They aren't casting shadows again. The grass around them looks like it's growing sideways. I haven't left the cabin all day. I moved a chair to the back wall and just sat there watching, writing this log by hand, drinking lukewarm coffee, waiting. I keep expecting them to vanish like before, blink out, slip away when I'm not looking. But this time, They're staying, and I think I know why. They want me to climb. It's not just a feeling. The stairs are humming now. A low, deep vibration that I can hear through the window pane and feel in the floorboards. My coffee cup started to rattle about an hour ago. I checked every other possible source. No wind, no trucks, no low-flying aircraft. Just the stairs, humming like an engine buried in the earth. And there's a smell. Faint at first, but it's grown steadily stronger. Sweet, wet, coppery, not rot, not blood. Something older, like wet iron and mold and flowers that bloom underground. It's leaking in through the walls. Around noon, I saw the first animal. A fox crept up to the edge of the clearing, froze, and stared at the stairs. It didn't move for nearly 20 minutes, not a twitch, just locked eyes with those stones like it was waiting for something. Then it let out the quietest, strangest sound I've ever heard, like a whimper and a bark merged together, and bolted. Full sprint into the trees. I haven't seen another animal since. Even the birds are gone. It's too quiet now. Not normal quiet. Pressure quiet. The kind you feel in your skull. Like being underwater. My ears pop every time I stand up. I've tried turning on the radio again. Just static. The emergency channel plays what sounds like Morse code, but I don't recognize the pattern. It loops every 10 seconds. I recorded it, thinking I could decode it later, but the file won't play back. Says the format is unsupported. It's getting late. I haven't eaten. My stomach doesn't feel right. My mouth tastes like dirt and copper. Every time I blink, I see those steps burned into my vision. I tried closing the blinds, but I couldn't bring myself to do it. I keep thinking that if I can see them, I'll know if they move. I've thought about climbing. Not seriously. Not yet. But the thought is in there now, whispering behind my teeth. Just one step, it says. Just to see how it feels. I tried to nap around 5 p.m. Didn't last. I woke up to tapping at the window. Software fingertips. The window facing the back clearing. I didn't check. I couldn't. I stayed on the floor, heart hammering, staring at the ceiling until the tapping stopped. When I finally got up enough nerve to peek outside, the stairs were still there, still empty, but something was different. There was a pine cone on the fourth step, just one, fresh, sticky, pointing upward. That's new. I watched it for another hour. It didn't move. Nothing came to claim it. But I swear the top step looked deeper, like the shadows at the summit had thickened, curving inward, hinting at a void just beyond sight. I've started writing my notes on paper again. I don't trust the laptop. It turned on by itself twice today. The screen just lit up and displayed a message. Where are you going? No keyboard input, no mouse movement. I unplugged it and shoved it under the bed. It turned on again an hour later, running on a dead battery. The hum from the stairs is louder now. I think they're getting closer. I know how that sounds. They're fixed in the ground. They haven't moved an inch. But the feel of them, whatever presence they carry, it's pressing in. I keep thinking I'll turn and find them inside the cabin, at the foot of my bed, in the mirror, in me. I finally forced myself to step outside. I had to know if the air was different, if I was just going stir-crazy. I stood on the porch and stared at them. They didn't move, didn't change, but something was watching from the trees. I know it. I felt it. A tightness in my chest, like gravity bending around my ribs, like something just out of sight was leaning forward, inches from my ear, waiting for me to let my guard down. The forest is too still. No rustle, no creak, no bird song, just silence, and the hum. I counted the steps again. 12. Always 12. I keep thinking about what that number means. 12 months. 12 hours. 12 disciples, 12 steps in addiction recovery. It feels intentional, symbolic, like someone, or something, wants me to see a pattern. And I think about that message on the report. Staircase protocol, case number 47, do not file. 46 other cases. How many of those people are still breathing? How many climbed? Because I'm starting to understand the urge, not logically, but deep down in the marrow. The stairs are a question, an invitation, a door that looks like stone but smells like hunger. They want you to ask why. They want you to get close. They feed on curiosity, and I'm starving for answers. I don't know how long I can keep resisting. I haven't eaten. I haven't slept. I found another pine cone inside the cabin just now, this one on the counter, next to my coffee mug. I didn't hear anyone enter. The door was still locked. But there it was. Damp. Sticky. Green. They're marking me. I think the steps only show themselves to people who are already unraveling, who've already got something broken inside them. I think that's the point. They don't need to hunt you. You'll come to them. Eventually. When the silence gets too loud, and your reflection stops following you, and the world starts to bend like heat in the air. That's when they open the way. I've made my decision. Tomorrow, if they're still there, I'm going to get closer. Not to climb. Not yet. Just to see if they react. If the air changes. If I feel anything when I touch the first stone. I've faced worse things in these woods. Bears, fires, floods. I've seen people at their lowest and wildest. But nothing has ever made my bones ache like this. I need to know. I need to know what they are. And what they want. If I don't make another entry, you'll know why. Burn this log. Log entry number 5. October 20th. I touched the stairs this morning. It wasn't supposed to happen like that. I told myself I'd just get close, just test the air, maybe snap a photo, keep my distance. But the moment I stepped into the clearing, it felt like the world narrowed. Like everything else, the sky, the trees, even the air, flattened into a single path. 12 steps of stone, pulling gravity toward them. My feet moved without permission. The closer I got, the colder it became. Not wind cold, not seasonal chill. It felt like stepping into a place that forgot how to host life. My breath misted out in front of me, even though the sun was shining. I was sweating and shivering at the same time. The hairs on my arms lifted like static. My boots crunched over frost that hadn't been there the day before. I stopped when I was close enough to reach out and touch the base of the first step. Up close, the material didn't look like stone anymore. It pulsed, barely, like the slow throb of something sleeping. The surface wasn't solid. It had the grain of something grown, not built. I told myself it was some kind of optical illusion. Heat waves, light distortion. But when I placed my fingers on the edge of the first step, I felt a heartbeat. Not mine. Something deep and slow, like a drum buried in mud. I don't remember deciding to step up. One moment I was staring at the base. The next, I was standing on the third step. I didn't feel the motion. I didn't feel myself rise. But the ground was further away. That's when I heard the whisper. It came from inside the steps, inside my head. I can't describe it well. Not a voice, but more like a suggestion. Words that bloomed fully formed behind my eyes. Almost there. The whisper bloomed in my skull like pressure from behind my eyes. I staggered backward, but my legs didn't respond. My feet stayed rooted to the third step, like the stone had curled tendrils around my boots. My heart pounded in my throat. I gritted my teeth, trying to tear away, but I couldn't. The air around me felt heavier than water, syrup thick and dragging at my skin. The whisper came again, louder this time, still inside me, never through the air. Keep going. just a little further. I tried to call out, but no sound came, not even a breath. My body wasn't mine anymore. My arms hung limp. My spine ached with tension, like I'd been sleeping in the cold for days. Then, all at once, my vision shifted. Not blurry, not black, but wrong. The forest around me faded, like the colors were draining, shadows stretching out toward me like claws. The fourth step rose up to meet me. I didn't lift my leg. I was being drawn upward. That's when I saw the faces. Not in front of me, beneath me. In the dirt below the stairs, in the roots, in the soil. They were faint, ghost-like impressions of human faces. Eyes closed, mouths twisted open in a silent scream. Hundreds of them, barely visible, their outlines flickering in and out like heat mirages. They were real. I know they were. Each one looked like it had once been part of something alive. Each one trying to claw its way up. My knees buckled and I collapsed forward, chin hitting the sixth step. My teeth clicked together. The world spun. Something was whispering in both ears now. 7 is the summit. 7 opens the gate. I wanted to scream, wanted to vomit, but I couldn't do anything but move forward. One hand, then the other, dragging myself up. I could feel my nails splintering on the stone. Blood warmed my palms. My skin felt thin, stretched, like I'd been dipped in boiling water. I passed the 7th step. The sky overhead was gone now, replaced by something black and rippling. The sound of breathing filled the clearing. Not mine, not human. Wet, gurgling, low and deep, like something inhaling through a shattered rib cage. Then, everything stopped. I was standing on the 8th step, though I didn't remember taking it. Everything was quiet again, the humming gone. The weight in the air lifted. I looked down, and the stairs weren't there. No forest, no cabin, no earth beneath me. Just blackness in all directions, like standing on a stone in the middle of space. The air didn't move. My breath didn't fog. I couldn't even feel my own chest rise. Something was waiting ahead of me. A door. No handle. Just a dark slab of wood, warped with moisture and age. Symbols were burned into the surface, shapes that hurt to look at. Twisting lines and crude figures that seemed to crawl under my skin the longer I stared at them. A thought bloomed in my skull again. Choose. My feet moved me forward. The door opened before I could touch it. Inside was me. Sitting at a desk, writing this very entry in the ranger cabin. Same clothes, same chair, same coffee mug, the same pine cone on the counter. The double looked up at me. It didn't have eyes, just empty sockets dripping pitch-black fluid that hissed when it hit the floor. It smiled. I ran. I don't know how I got down the stairs. I don't know how I didn't break my neck. I remember the feeling of falling, not physically, but through something. Through memory, through thoughts. I saw faces I didn't recognize, names that weren't mine. I felt hands on my spine, like dozens of fingers pushing me down. Then I was on the ground again. The stairs were gone, just a ring of burned grass where they'd stood. I threw up, crawled to the tree line and lay there for hours. I think I passed out at some point, because the next thing I remember was waking in the dirt with the sun low and my skin cold. I stumbled back to the cabin. Every tree felt like it was watching me. I swear the shadows moved on their own. The air didn't smell like earth anymore. It smelled like metal, like old batteries and meat gone sour. I locked the door behind me. I tore the blinds down and nailed the window shut. I unplugged everything. The laptop was already on again, screen flashing random letters in a language I don't recognize. When I opened my journal to write this, the pages were already filled in. 3 entries I never wrote. Each one dated for days in the future. Each one describing deaths in the woods, Campers, hikers, a search party, torn apart, mutilated, arranged in geometric patterns, pine cones stuffed in their mouths, each page signed at the bottom, with my name, my hand. I don't remember writing them, but the ink was fresh. I don't know what's happening to me. I haven't slept since touching the stairs. I can't. Every time I close my eyes, I see that door again, the figure behind it. Me, not me, with no eyes and that smile. I hear the whispering all the time now, not just outside, inside, under my thoughts, like a second voice waiting to take control. I found dirt in my sheets this morning, and blood under my fingernails. There's a pine cone on the nightstand. The same one. I know it is. I threw it in the fire last night. I watched it burn. It popped and hissed and turned black. But it's here now. Whole. Damp. Waiting. I think I brought something back with me. Or maybe I left something there. Either way, I'm not whole anymore. I don't know how much longer I can write. My hands shake when I try to hold the pen. Sometimes I forget where I am. I look up and the walls don't look familiar. The mirror doesn't show my face right. There's always something just slightly off. A shadow behind my shoulder. A second reflection blinking out of sync. I heard someone outside just now. Said my name. My real name. Not the one I go by. Only my mother ever used it. She's been dead for 10 years. I looked out the window. Nothing there. Just the forest. But it's different now. The trees are closer. I don't mean they grew. I mean the tree line has shifted. Moved 10 feet closer to the cabin since yesterday. I measured it. Marked it with a stake. It's moved again tonight. I think the forest is swallowing the cabin, and whatever's in it with me. I don't know if I'll write again, but if I do, it won't be me.